First off, my name is Richard Stauffer, fitness instructor, CFB Edmonton. We are about to do a power class. We'll kind of get into exactly what that means in just a couple of moments here. A couple things you need. First off, get some water. I actually forgot to do that, so I'll be getting my water in just a sec. And we are going to also be using a kettlebell. Mostly going to be body weight stuff. We're going to mix some kettlebell stuff in there as well. And whatever weight for the kettlebell that you're going to be using, you know, depending on your fitness level, whatever you got laying around your house. Dumbbell will also work just fine. I'll make sure to show you guys what to do with the dumbbell if that's what you have instead. Whatever weight you have laying around, something you can comfortably move a little bit overhead is great. Obviously, just like normal, you guys would be playing your own music because I'm not playing it for you. Probably just better for you guys to hear what I'm saying if we do that. Yeah, now what I got to do is read you this little blurb, so I will. In response to COVID-19, PSP is offering virtual fitness to Canadian Armed Forces members. By using social media platforms, the virtual fitness classes tailored to Canadian Armed Forces members become accessible to all. Participants who are not Canadian Armed Forces members recognize and acknowledge that their age, health status, and physical fitness levels are unknown, and it is entirely up to each individual to assess their ability to participate in this class. Since it is preferable to consult your physician before beginning any exercise program, we invite all participants who are not Canadian Armed Forces members to consult the Get Active questionnaire of the Canadian Society of Exercise Physiology and its reference document. If you experience any pain or difficulty during the exercise presented in this video, it is recommended that you stop and consult a healthcare provider. If CAF members sustain an injury during this video, please remember to fill out a CF98. Okay, so first off, today we are going to be doing a power hour. This class is called Power Hour. So we're going to be doing a power workout. We're developing the physical skill of power. Power is defined as work over time. So the work has components of force and distance. So for all intents and purposes, what we're doing today, we're going to be calling work kind of how much power we can, how much distance we can cover, if we're going to go with that, in a very short amount of time. So for example, if I'm jumping, this could be how high I'm going to be jumping in that little instance there. Okay. We're going to be taking relatively long breaks between because you're going to be better off for creating maximum amounts of power, which is the goal of this class, by taking long rest periods. So there's going to be a lot of standing around. If you're looking to be jumping around for the full 60 minutes straight, this class isn't for you. We're going to be working on generating a maximum amount of tension and power in a minimal amount of time. Okay, it's not a HIIT or interval class. The only way to increase power is by jumping higher than we did before. If you do 100 consecutive jumps at a weight at a height you always do, you're probably not getting better at jumping higher. You're probably getting better at jumping at that exact same height. In fact, you're probably becoming so efficient that you're losing a little bit of your maximum power ability because you're stretching that ability to create power over so many reps. So again, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not what we're doing today. We'll be resting a long time, like I mentioned before. If you spend the majority of this class out of breath, then I've probably done a pretty bad job of programming it. Obviously, there'll be some instances, but very likely with the long rest periods, you'll be able to catch your breath quite a bit. If you have a low ceiling, mine is, I'm not very tall and I can touch my ceiling here. Just be aware that you may end up banging into it. So if you want to take this party outside, you can feel free to do that as long as you can still see me. I will do my best not to, well actually honestly, for some of my movements I'm going to be trying to hit my head. I've tested it out a couple of times. I didn't quite get there. Anytime I jump maximally up there, I'm going to make sure my hands are in the way to protect myself. But a little bit of a safety warning, I'm not going to be held responsible. Neither myself, nor PSP, nor the Canadian Armed Forces will be held responsible for your necks or your ceiling repair, okay? Obviously, if you hurt yourself doing anything, CF98, all that good stuff. Okay? So we're going to do a little bit of warm-up. We're going to start relatively slow because we're doing maximal power type stuff today. We're going to be taking a fairly thorough warm-up before we really get into that max effort stuff. And rest assured, I'll let you guys know when we're going from the warm-up phase into the higher intensity stuff. I'll do my best to make that very clear. So to start out, same thing. I'm not going to mix things up on you guys a whole bunch. I'm going to start with a fairly general warm-up, just like I always do. The reason I do this is I'm hoping whenever you do my classes, you get to see exactly what I do for a warm-up, and you can make sure you feel things in the right spot, and some skill and competency is gained in some of this warm-up stuff, and hopefully I'm explaining over the course of all the times where we do more or less the same warm-up movements. I'm explaining exactly what you're hitting, and you know, you're hopefully feeling it correctly. And if you're not, that's what Danielle's over there answering questions before or after, I should say, and during the workout. Okay, so we're going to do the world's greatest stretch. The Richard Stauffer version here. You're going to squeeze your glute, your back leg, push your hips forward. So I got my right leg back, my right leg forward, left leg back. And I'm going to turn over my forward leg just like that right there. Nice little bit of extension through the hip there. I'm getting a nice little stretch through there. A little bit of rotation through the spine. Now I'm going to take my left hand, reach it up towards the ceiling, just like that. Both hands down. You can hop the back leg towards the wall behind you. Nice little exhale into that stretch. Hand goes up in the air. Again, exhale there. Toes come up. Shove back into that hamstring stretch. The biggest mistake people do with this one is put the hand on the inside. Ideally, you want the hand on the outside. So we can lean into this leg a little bit more and we're not over into the hands. All right. Switch sides, squeeze glute, push hips forward. Over that forward leg, just like that. Chest relatively vertical, trying to slump over. Hand goes up in the air. Excuse me. Both hands down, back leg towards the wall behind you. Exhale there. Hand goes up. Stacking the shoulders more or less on top of one another. Arm on the outside of the foot, looking down. Balancing the weight between the 2 feet. Trying to rock that those hips back though. Good. Okay, now we're going to go into that hamstring stretch we do before. We're going to proceed that with the squat stretch. Just like that. We do this one before pretty much all my classes, because pretty much all my classes we're doing some kind of a squat pattern. Okay, hands go to the outside. And again into that hamstring stretch. I'm going to go back in, keep my hands on my feet this time. Push the chest out a little bit, trying to round through the back. Exhale up into that hamstring stretch. One more time, squat. Hamstring stretch. Roll up out of that. Okay, next thing, we're going to lay down on the floor once again. We're going to make a Y shape with the shoulders, a T shape with the shoulders, W. We're just going to rotate through those, laying on your stomach. Just like every other time, you want to make sure that when you bring those hands back, it comes from the shoulder as opposed to arching the back, okay? So we're working on a little bit of activity between the shoulder blades and the upper back there. We're not just trying to squeeze the low back with this one, okay? So I'm going to go through that. We're just going to do it 3 times in each position. All right, so just squeeze those muscles just a little bit. We'll get another round of that one in so we won't miss out on that. Next, I'm going to do a plank with a shoulder tap. So I'm going to get into my plank position. I'm going to widen my stance a little bit. I'm going to alternate side to side, just 3 times on each side. Narrow my stance a little bit. Lift up my foot now, 3 times on each side. Making sure as you lift that foot, it's really coming from the glute, and again, you're not arching your low back. Keeping that core nice and stable. So we're going to start that whole thing over again. World's greatest stretch. Right leg forward, left leg back, squeeze the glute, go over the forward leg. Exhale there, hand comes up, reaching up to the ceiling. Hand goes down, and up in the air, stack the shoulders, just like that. Back. Same thing on the other side. Nice little exhale on each side should be just fine, or each position I'd say should be just fine. Back to that hamstring stretch. Good. We're going to continue on. Squat stretch going, chest is out, elbows pushing back in a nice groin stretch, adductor stretch. Grab the feet, hamstring stretch, couple breaths there, groin stretch, couple exhales there, and into the hamstrings, One more time. Things should be loosening up a little bit. Certainly more loose than the first time we did this stretch today. Okay, next up into that YTW. I'm just gonna lay down right here and do it. We'll do it 3 times in each position again. As you're doing it, you may feel your head start to come up like mine did. Drop your nose down, squeeze your abs a little bit, reassume that good position. Awesome. And we're gonna do that plank with the arm reach or with the shoulder tap, pardon me. You shouldn't be seeing my hips rock from side to side. Should be nice and stable. Then, same thing. Come in from the foot moving this time. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to do just a little general warm-up stuff, just kind of get the blood pumping. I'm going to stick with 3 push-ups, 3 sit-ups, 6 squats, 3 lunges per side for 2 rounds. Again, this is just getting the blood pumping, not really part of the workout. If you're already sweating a little bit, maybe 2 rounds won't be too much for you. That's okay, just whatever it takes to get you just a little bit of that sweat going on, get the heart rate up a little bit. So 3 push-ups. We're going to do step back lunges, whatever variation of lunges you want to do. Is just fine. Finish off with squats. And right into the next round. Do the right order this time. Start with the squat, or finish. Do the squats first, then the lunges last. Whew, and that did the job for me. Heart rate came up a little bit. I'm breathing a little harder. I'm warmed up. Awesome. Take just a minute, then I'm going to get into a more specific warm-up. And I'm going to open a window. Okay, so we're going to start. We're going to kind of move into more of a specific warm-up. What we're going to do here is lots of stuff we're going to do today is going to be jumping. We're going to get as vertical as possible. So for example, first exercise is going to be a jump squat. You're going to be opening the hips as much as possible at the top. We're going to make sure those hips are not too tight. So to kind of get that done, we're going to go back into that half kneeling position. Hands going to go up in the air, on the back of the head, whatever you like. And I'm going to do that on the right side. My left knee's down, my left hand should be up. And we're just going to work through. We're going to play with a couple different positions. See if it's tighter if you kind of rock in like this, or if you push your hip out like this. We'll just do this for 1 minute. Again, the main goal here is to open this up. Just like with the world's greatest stretch, you should be not sticking your tummy out. Back shouldn't be arched. Back should be nice, our glutes should be turned on. Back should be relatively flat. All right, once we're done with that side, we're going to spend a little bit of time in the other side. This one, I'm just going to lean back, a nice little stretch through here. If you don't have such a low ceiling like I have, opening up your lat's going to be a good idea, so you can reach as far as you can overhead as you stretch. Get those arms involved a little bit. Obviously, arms aren't your primary target when working on a squat jump, but making sure you're not, you're warmed up through here, which we're definitely going to need, is a good idea. Again, another 20 seconds or so here. Feel free to work around. If this is really sore on your knee, feel free to grab a pillow, something soft, throw it underneath. I'm pretending I'm tough for you guys. It doesn't hurt me at all. It's a little uncomfortable. Probably would feel a little bit better if I wouldn't have rolled up my rug, but it's a pretty nice rug. All right. Okay, next up, I'm going to do a dead bug. The reason I'm doing dead bug is the whole point of lots of lower body explosiveness is I want to move my lower body through space, okay? So I want to transfer this energy from my legs into the rest of my body. If my spine isn't, or the muscles around my spine, I should say, isn't acting as a good transmission for that power, if I'm all floppy through the middle, I'm not going to get very efficient transmission of that power. So we want to make sure this stays relatively tight and you're squeezing your abs when you ought to be and the right muscles are doing the right work. So long story for the fact that we are just going to do some dead bugs right now to help stabilize things. So what this is going to look like, we did these ones last time. We're going to lay down on the floor just like this. Get up here so you can see my feet here. Hands are going to be up like this. You're going to take your right hand, left leg, move them away from each other, and come back up. And as you're doing that, you want to make sure that your back stays pressed, your low back stays pressed into the floor. So the hardest part of the exercise is going to be all the way down here. That's where you have to flex the most, okay? So keep that turned on. And we're going to do 5 on each side. I think that was 3. I'm cueing my abs every time. You can just keep the hand up. Oh boy, that threw off my coordination a little bit. It's okay, I'll bring it back home for the last couple here. Good. Okay, so again, the core is a little cued now. It's a good thing. Next up, what we're going to do is, I didn't mention this, I mentioned a dumbbell or a kettlebell. You can use pretty much anything for this. We're just going to get the calves, we're just going to give them a little tiny pump kind of thing, right? We don't want to, get them so they don't move very well, so this could be different, a number of reps for different people, but I'm just going to do 20 reps on each side twice, okay? And what that's going to look like is, if you have a dumbbell, just grab your dumbbell, put it underneath your foot like this right here, and it just barely fits. You're going to raise yourself up. If you need to give yourself a little bit of a spot with the other foot, that's fine. What I'm going to do instead of that, I'm going to crack open my door to my secret staircase here, and I'm going to do 20 reps on each side. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to talk you guys through that. I know you might not have been able to see that. I'll get you to do another set of calf raises. What we're really trying to do here, I'll show you guys on my little, not quite as good calf raise station, but the goal here is we're going to get just a little bit below where the foot would be flat on the floor and to raise up onto the balls of the foot just a little bit. The reason for that being is we're going to be using the calves quite a bit. We're going to ask a little bit out of them. We just want to make sure that they are kind of primed and ready to go. The calf, Achilles tendon, all that stuff. A couple of things going on back there. We just want to make sure that they're ready to react because we're going to be demanding that they lengthen and then shorten in relatively short order. We want to make sure that they are all ready to do that. So 2 sets of between 10 and 20 reps. So you guys can finish up your last set. If you're, you've already started, I'll give you another 30 seconds or so to do the other side. Or if you haven't started, go to it right now. I'll give you about 30 seconds, and then we're going to move on to the next bit in the warm-up there. Won't be using the staircase anymore today. All right, guys, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start the workout actually with some squat jumps as high as you can. For right now, what we're going to do is we're just going to go a full squat to kind of warm up the entirety of the squat range of motion. And we're just gonna have you guys pop up on your toes. So what that's gonna look like is you're gonna go like this, you pop up on your toes, hold that for a second, come back. So squat down and come up. And what I want you guys to think about doing with this is as you squat down, you're gonna go down all the way to the bottom, and as you come up, hips come through first, then up on your toes, as much as you can put that together, okay? So go ahead and give me another 3 of those, just like this. Good, awesome. So we're just kind of slowly getting into this stuff. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do a squat jump, and we're just barely gonna have the feet leave the floor, okay? So I'm not gonna use my arms for too much for momentum here, just for a little bit of balance. I'm gonna squat this time, just about halfway, just like that right there. So my toes just left the floor, okay? All right, so I'm gonna give you a short break after that, and next up, we're gonna have the feet leave the floor a little tiny bit, okay? A little bit more, okay? All right. So what we're gonna do next is we're actually gonna break into some squat jumps, okay? How we're gonna time our work and rest. First off, you're gonna be between 1 and 3 seconds of rest. Or 1 to 3 reps, pardon me, not seconds of rest. 1 to 3 reps, and then we're gonna rest the entirety of the rest of the next minute, okay? So I want you guys to do maximum jumps. We are going to, I'm already a little bit behind schedule in my class here, so we're gonna do 6 sets of this. And the first set we're gonna do with no arms, and we're gonna kind of mix it up a little bit. We're gonna change how things are, but I'll explain that. Luckily, we're doing 1 to 3 reps, and we're gonna have the rest of the minute. So 1 to 3 reps takes 1 to 3 seconds, we'll say. You're gonna have the whole rest of the time, okay? So you get a stopwatch going here. Again, the main goal here is we're not gonna squat all the way down. We're just gonna get a little bit of a squat, then we're gonna stand up, okay? And again, we're gonna try to fire through those hips, squeeze your butt at the top, extend those quads, push hard through the ground every single time. We're gonna go every minute on the minute, and this is gonna take 8 or so minutes. As soon as I get my phone figured out here. All right, guys, so this first time we're gonna go no arms. Good, okay, that's it. Took us certainly less than 10 seconds there. We've got the whole rest of the minute to rest here. We are going to do 3 reps again here, 1 to 3 reps. We're gonna go with minimal ground contact time this time, okay? So what's gonna happen is we're gonna go down, and instead of loading all the way down to the bottom, you're gonna go down, just like that, okay? And again, no arms with this one. Just concentrate on the lower body. All right, got another 15 seconds here. So this is as high as you can go while still keeping your arms out in front of you. Don't worry, we'll get those arms involved, make a little more of that athletic movement after this. Okay, so let's go. Pardon me, no arms. All right, once again, 5 seconds. We got 55 seconds to rest. That's okay. I'm a little out of breath because I'm talking, but hopefully this isn't wearing you out too much. So the next one, we're actually gonna use our arms here. But again, we're not gonna load and jump over a super slow range of motion. We're gonna go up. Whew. It's a good thing I put my hands above my head because I'm really coming close to the ceiling. Hopefully I missed my leg here. Good, so we're gonna do that in about 20 seconds. So again, really minimizing contact time with the floor here. As soon as your toes touch the floor, as soon as your feet touch the floor, right bounce right back at it. Okay, 5 seconds. Good. Awesome. About a minute to rest. And we've got 4 or 5 more sets. I'll let you know when you're done. How about that? As you guys are doing these jumps, I want you to land where you're gonna take off, just like this right here with everything fully extended, but you're also gonna land kind of similar way, toes, then the foot goes flat, then the knees are gonna bend, you're gonna go right back out of that. But I don't want you guys to be, for this particular one, hopping on your toes. We're gonna go with more of a flat foot landing. Flat foot on your toes isn't wrong or right, but for what we're doing today, we're gonna do that. Okay, we got about 5 seconds till the next one. Another thing you want to pay attention to is you notice I might have like jumped to the side a little bit. Try to jump straight up and down if you can. I was a little bit more concerned, now that I'm doing the workout, a little bit more concerned about banging my head on my lower ceiling here. So I'm gonna maybe not put quite so much enthusiasm into my jumps. But if you're smarter than me and you pick a location where it's not such a low ceiling, then you should be just fine. Got another 15 seconds here. All right, again, minimal contact time with the floor. As soon as you get on the floor, get right back off. Okay, let's do it. Good, that was a little bit better for me. You can quite bop all over the place. We got 3 rounds left. Good job, guys. Oh, one thing I didn't discuss, how we're deciding whether we're doing 1 or 3 reps is I really want you guys to pay attention to how quickly these things are happening for you. If the first one's super explosive, second one's half as explosive, and the third one is like really you're not moving off the ground at all, axe that last rep. Alternatively, if you know, you're going super strong for 3, you're like, I could throw an extra rep in there. Sure, do 4, do 5. But again, you should notice like, holy cow, I was really springy on the first one, second one, third one not so much. Watch it and pay attention to what you're doing, and then make an educated decision on that. Okay, let's go ahead and go again. Awesome. Okay, we got 2 more. Again, you'll notice we are minimizing ground contact time, so this is not a full squat. We're just hitting the ground, coming right back up again. Quarter squat maybe, just push the hips back. These can come forward a little tiny bit here, that's fine. We do want to load those hamstrings a little bit so the chest might drop, that's totally fine. We don't need to be totally oompa-looping things. We can get into those hammies a little bit. You guys got the oompa-loompa thing, right? Oompa-loompa, doobity-doo, anyway. All right, okay, we got 5 seconds. Now we're gonna go, I'm gonna again go after my ceiling here. Second last round. Awesome. I had a little bit of forward motion to my jump there. Not the end of the world. A little bit better than trying to jump straight up and going off to one side like I did for that one set. We got 1 more set of this, and we're going to change things up a little bit. Good thing about starting with the squat jumps, we've also kind of warmed up the arms a little bit for the push-ups we're going to do next. And despite the fact that what I said earlier, if you're breathing super hard, you'll probably have programmed the class wrong. I'm breathing a little bit hard, so hopefully it's a little bit easier for you guys. Another 15 seconds, we'll do this last round. Again, try to make sure the whole foot contacts the floor at the very bottom before you change directions. Okay, let's do it. Good job. All right, take a quick second. Let's get you to scroll a little bit there for me, and we'll move on to the next thing. All right, so next up, we are going to do a clapping push-up. Okay, actually, for my purposes, I'm not even going to clap. I practiced this earlier today. I can clap, but with my main goal here is to push myself off as hard as I can. I'm going to disregard that, just try to get as much height as possible. What you guys are going to do, anybody who's just sitting around watching me not doing the workout, you can feel free to critique me on this. I'm going to do my best not to let my hips do too much of the work. Look, with any push-up, I want to make sure that my body moves up as one piece. I don't shoot my hips out and then push my hips back like this. For this particular kind of more strict style clapping push-up, we are just going to keep this nice and locked in, abs nice and tight, glutes nice and tight. You're going to push. You're going to try to get a little bit of a hop off the fingertips. Please keep those fingertips pointed at the ground as you go. The reason we're not doing the clapping ones is if I go like this, I don't quite make it to the hand, make my hands to the floor again. I can roll over, I can bang up my fingers. We're going to try to do this the safest way possible. Again, you're going to stop. I have between 1 and 3 reps in my workout here. You can do between 1 and 5. Just do as many reps as you can without slowing down. So I'm probably going to try to start with 3, but I'll probably move to 1 or 2 reps relatively quickly because we're not trying to increase your push-up endurance here. There's definitely different, better ways to do that. The main goal here is just be as explosive as possible. And if you do a rep that's super, super quick, takes you half a second, and the next rep takes 3/4 of a second, you're probably not getting any faster doing that. We want to focus on getting those real quick reps done, okay? All right, so clapping push-ups. We're going to do these just like the other ones, every minute on the minute. We're going to do this not every minute on the minute. We're going to do every 30 seconds instead of every minute. So again, between 1 and 3 reps. That's just because, again, I've noticed most people, they start to slow down a little sooner with these exercises than with the lower body ones. Our lower bodies are used to doing fairly explosive things. We run, we jump, whatever. Upper bodies less so unless you're a fighter of some kind, not super explosive. So we'll run out of gas a little faster on these ones. So 1 to 3 reps, but we're up in the cycle to 30 seconds, okay? So we're going to start this off in about 20 seconds here. Once again, when we're doing this, I want to make sure you guys are as strict as possible as opposed to that right there where your butt leads you. Again, we'll see how it goes for me. I might not be perfect, but I'm definitely going to be trying my best to keep my body nice and strict. And if I notice those hips moving, I'm going to make this a little easier, maybe by going to my knees or by doing less reps, depending on why it's moving around for me. Okay, let's do it. First interval, let's go. Just like that. And again, try not to pop my butt up in the air whenever I can. 10 seconds, we're going to do another one. This 30 seconds is pretty short, so I'm actually going to drop down to 2 reps fairly straight away here. 3 might have been a little bit ambitious. Okay, let's go. On that bottom of that movement, make sure to catch yourself. Don't just walk those elbows out. Make sure that you kind of absorb so it's not all coming to the shoulder. Absorb through the elbows just like you were when you're doing your push-ups. Second set's already done. We're on the 3rd set. 3 seconds here. Let's go. Awesome. Yeah, 2's definitely a better number for me. I feel like I can maintain that explosiveness. I'm not really slowing down on the way down, not thumping my chest into the floor, nothing like that. As far as depth, honestly, as whatever's kind of most comfortable on your shoulder joint, whatever's most comfortable on your elbows, that kind of thing. You don't need to touch your chest to the floor. That's what I'm going to do, at least at first. But yeah, whatever you can do to change directions as fast as possible. Let's do the next one. And once again, if you guys think I'm cheating, shooting my butt up in the air, you just write it in the comments, and I'm sure I'll be made aware that I'm screwing this up on you. Okay, let's do the next one. Breathing for this, probably okay. Hold your breath through the 2 reps. If you're doing a whole bunch in a row, I wouldn't really recommend holding your breath. Maybe a quick exhale at the very top, but it's really hard to get a whole breath in on the way down and come back up. So for our purposes, if you wanted to hold your breath for the entirety of the 2 real quick reps, that would probably be okay. All All right, let's do the next one. Halfway. Awesome. Oh, like I said before, feel free to do these from your knees. It's really hard to be explosive with the upper body for most people, so you could certainly do that as well. That would be just fine. Especially if you're really having a hard time with that rebound. Either give yourself a little more rest, maybe you go to the 1 minute instead of the half to 30 seconds, but definitely find a way to make sure this is doing what we want it to, which is explosively moving. Let's do another set. Good. And again, absorb on that last rep. Try not to catch it, lock those shoulders. What do we got? We'll go 3 more sets. Let's do it. So just experiment. I took 2 breaths there. I was able to get a little bit of air in on the second one, but I think I'll probably go back to just holding my breath for the 2 reps. Takes less than a second, maybe a little bit over that. You know, it's hard to get your breath out and then back in for that core stability to make sure those hips don't wiggle all over the place. So I'm definitely going to err to the side of the 1 breath. Another thing with these push-ups, you don't have your elbows all the way in, not all the way out here. Somewhere in the middle, close to that 45 degrees, is where most people should be at their strongest and at their best. Lots of people start out like this, their neck's moving all over the place. I'd rather you do knee push-ups or push-ups up on your counter. I guess you guys can't see my counter, but it's there. With those elbows in a good position, then all the way on the floor, have it be a crappy position. Okay, let's do another set, second last set. Awesome. One more round. We're going to move on. All right, let's do the last round. Good. Good job, guys. All right, we're going to move on to the next thing. This is going to be the worst thing that I do today. I'm certainly not picking movements that I'm, the best at. The whole power being dynamic thing isn't something I've excelled at in the last couple of years. So we are going to do a reverse lunge with the knee up between 1 to 3 reps. And we're going to go 1 to 3 reps every 30 seconds. I was going to go 10 minutes, but clearly my time management skills, not my best. So we're only going to do, let's go with this for 4 minutes, okay? So that's going to be 4 sets of each of these. We've already done some dynamic lower body. This is going to be a little bit more difficult because it's just one side at a time. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower down like this, and we're going to spring up like this, okay? So we're going to actually jump, just like that. I'll tie my shoe before I end my life on this. And we're going to go every 30 seconds. First with the right leg, or the left leg, as long as you switch. All right, so the toughest part about this one for me personally, after practicing a little bit, is moving my arms at the right time. I don't walk like this, but I find when I do this kind of stuff, I always want to like jump up with my right arm and right leg going at the same time. That's not correct. It's not a great way to get any power. So you want to make sure you're moving your arms and legs in opposition to each other. All right, we're going to start this up in about 15 seconds. Start this right now. All right, so now that you've seen what it looks like at full speed when I do it, hopefully you can make it a little more graceful than me. We're going to do this for another full 4 sets on each side. So 3 more on the right, 4 more on the left. Which, if you can believe it, left's even worse. But mate, as long as you are driving that knee up, opposite arm, opposite leg, and you're getting as high as you can, that's the goal here. All right, that was a little bit better. I'll figure it out eventually. I got 3 more sets to redeem myself. The big thing is to not think about it too much, because I just did and that screwed it up for me. All right, let's do the other side. All right, you'll notice I'm going like this. Ideally that leg can come out a little bit more. But that's okay, as long as you're driving your opposite arm, opposite leg up, that's the important thing. All right, 2 more on each side. We can go back to something I'm much better at. All right, let's do it. Got that again. All right. If, like me, you had to kind of stop and reset, I kind of wobbled over there at the bottom, it's okay. Push pause, bring it back to start position. Loading the thing up properly is definitely a much smarter idea than just getting the reps done quickly. Awesome. A little bit better there. Not falling over quite so much. 1 more on each side. All right, guys. Do the last one on this starting side we started with. Again, try to get that bottom foot to leave the ground a little bit more if you can. Obviously, I got some work to do on this one, but that's still a goal, as high as possible. You're trying to go that way. Awesome. Well done, guys. Whew, that was that one. So we're going to move on to some push press, okay? So we're going to use either a dumbbell or a kettlebell for this. If you do a kettlebell push press, first off, if you got a fancy watch, turn that bad boy in. You don't want to be painting your nice watch with the color of the kettlebell. So with the kettlebell, we're going to do between 1 to 3 reps every 30 seconds. You're going to load like this, torso relatively vertical, punch it up to the ceiling. Just like that. If you're using a dumbbell, got my trusty 15s here. Same idea, nice and vertical. If you can rest it on the shoulder, great. Keep the elbow up. Make sure you're not letting that elbow drop down. Just like that, okay? 3 reps, 1 to 3 reps every 30 seconds, alternating sides. We're only gonna get a chance to get 3 of these in. So we're just gonna go 3 each. 3 every 30 seconds for 3 minutes. All right, guys. Let's do it. Awesome. A little of a breather. Do the same thing on the other side. Again, nice and quick. So we're not only using the lower body, we're getting nice and dynamic with that, we're also punching the weight up overhead in that locked out position. Abs on nice and tight, the arch in the back too much. So we're doing a little bit of both here. Let's see if we can shorten our interval to just 20 seconds. That'll help us fit a little bit more in. I'm feeling up to it if you guys are. Yeah, we can go every 20 seconds. I believe in you. Not getting too out of breath here. do it. You might notice on my left side, occasionally I'll dip. It's not on purpose, it's by accident. Do my best to stay relatively square there. Load both my legs, not just let it all kind of come into my hip here. It's a little bit of a power dump, so we don't want to be doing that. You want to make sure that you leave your hips nice and tight, so you can kind of come up nice and square, put as much into that kettlebell as possible. Another round. One more on this side, then one more on each side. All right, one more right, one more left, then we'll move on. All right, guys, last time. On the right side. One more on the left side. Then we're going to move on. Let's do it. All right. Next up, we're going to do some kettlebell swings. So what we're going to do is 5 reps. We're going to stick with 20 seconds. And we're going to try to do that for at least 5 minutes here. We'll go 4 minutes. Going off my script a little bit because somehow I ended up behind schedule. Definitely is pretty typical for me. Nobody that knows me is very surprised. But, I'm working on my time management. For the kettlebell swing, first up, if all you have is a dumbbell, a couple options. You can grab onto it like this. That's not what I prefer. If you have a big enough head on your kettlebell or your dumbbell, pardon me, you're gonna go like that. Okay, anytime we're doing kettlebell or dumbbell swings, you wanna make sure it's almost like you're playing a game of chicken with that kettlebell. Wait, wait, wait. You swing your hips back. Basically, when the wrists or forearms come in contact, get nice and close to the body. We don't want to be bending the hips when we're way back here. That's a lot of force. You think about that kettlebell going downwards. Sometimes if you're being really active, you're driving it downwards. Whenever we've lifted anything heavy, we always think close to the body. Think about all that extra force on your spine. If you're starting with everything way out in front here, swinging it back here. That force, that directional change happens down here. It's just going straight down until you get to about here and it's close to your body. That's going to be way better for applying force. It's also going to be better for keeping your back nice and safe. So we want to really load those hamstrings at the bottom and feel those hips shoot backwards. Stretch the hamstrings. We want to push the hips forward, squeeze the glutes and the abs hard at the top. Often emphasize by going like this. Obviously, this shouldn't be your posture. You should still be relatively upright. Abs should be on nice and tight, but do squeeze your butts. This one is, top movement is all about your butt. If you're feeling a good shoulder pump here, probably not getting the point of the kettlebell swing. Okay. Pardon me. Let's get to it. Every 20 seconds, we're doing 5 hard swings. Go ahead. Just like that. Getting a little sweaty. That's okay, we're almost at the end. Okay, let's hit another 5. Awesome. So one thing I didn't mention, I try to mention this before I teach kettlebell swings. I always encourage you guys to start your kettlebell swings. Kettlebell out about a foot in front of your line your toes create. Reason for this being is that way you can hike it straight back, go into your first rep, as opposed to having to deadlift it up, do a little check swing, and then get in your swings. Okay, let's hit 5. Good job, guys. Let's do it again. I often get asked about my elbow position on the kettlebell swing. People think I'm lifting it up with my arms. I do like to draw my shoulders back a little bit more, make sure I stay nice and tight between the shoulder blades. Some people, that does result in my elbows bending a little bit. I'm still not bending my elbows to bring it up. I just keep my shoulder blades back. That creates a soft bend in my elbows. Arms still aren't doing the work, still letting the hips do the work. Let's do another set. Probably also noticing the breathing here. I'm definitely filling my lungs up with air as I come down, holding at the bottom. Once I get to here, just before I push my hips through, I'm getting a nice little bit of air out of my lungs. Using that pursed lip breathing just helps to focus energy and get that kettle up nice and high. Obviously, it'd be a little bit better if I had a heavier kettlebell, but making do with what I got. Let's go again. Wouldn't have to go quite so high if I had a heavier kettlebell. Another option, which I'll show in this next one, I'll probably only do 3 powerful reps like this. That's okay. It is to, once it gets to this position, squeeze those lats nice and hard, haul that kettlebell down, help gravity out a little bit. Just because if you don't have a heavy enough kettlebell, a little more ab activation there, a little more lats. Good way to do it. I'm going to do 3 here. What do we got? One more set. And we'll just do 3 again here. Just because I'm using that hard style swing. Last set of 3, then we're cooling down. Awesome. Okay. So what we're going to do for a kettlebell, or for a cool down, pardon me, we've already got our kettlebell here, so we're going to do a nice, easy set of 20 swings. We're not going to take it too easy. Kettlebell's still a dynamic exercise. We're going to do 20 swings on your own time. I'm not worried about exploding up with maximal power at the top, but we do want to make sure we are still bringing that kettlebell up using those hips, okay? So 20 reps on your own time, kettlebell swing, dumbbell swing. If you don't have any of those implements and you've just been standing around watching me for the last couple minutes, squats is just fine. Okay, let's do it. Just like that, we're all done. Well done, guys. Last 5 minutes here, just because we got the heart rate up a little bit. Just gonna walk back and forth. Couple of nice deep breaths. So hopefully you enjoyed that a little bit of power stuff here today. Again, lots of rest there, but when we're going maximum effort, whether it's minimizing foot contact or paying attention to a particular technical aspect. like I was with those darn lunge back with the knee up. Whew, that was a little messy for me. But no matter what it is, we're going to kind of concentrate on quality over quantity, just because we want to make sure we're doing this stuff right. And again, we are minimizing, maximizing, I should say, the amount of force, minimizing the contact with the floor in certain things. But yeah, we're just focusing on the speed element of this as much as possible. Okay, so now that my heart rate's come down a little bit, I'm gonna get you guys to take a thumbs up, pushing back just like that. And we'll just work through that 3 or 4 times. Keep those shoulders down. Alternating hands up. Just like that. Loosening up that shoulder. Good. Next thing, we're just going to go on all fours, like this right here. Make flat tabletop position. Arch your back, look up to the ceiling. Push through the shoulders. Looking down between the knees. 3 times on each side. Should be just fine. From here, we're just going to work into the back of the shoulder a little bit. Rest that head down on the floor. Nice stretch for the back of the shoulder, a little bit of rotation through the spine. Same thing on the other side. Two exhales in each position is just fine. Now we're going to kind of continue limbering up here. Let's go right leg forward, left leg back. Get that world's greatest going. Squeeze glute, push hips forward over that forward leg. It goes up. On the outside now. Back into that hamstring stretch. All right, what we're gonna do from here is you're just gonna start out feet anywhere from hip to shoulder width apart, whatever's comfortable for you. You're gonna unlock the knees a little bit, push them out just a touch, make sure they're not collapsing in. You're gonna push the hips back until you feel a nice stretch in the hamstrings, come up. So once again, abs are turned on, just cueing them right there, squeezing my hands in, pushing those in a little bit. I'm just pushing my hips back, keeping my shins relatively vertical. Make your 10 reps, just like this. Squeeze your butts at the top. Feeling that nice stretch in the hamstrings at the bottom of every rep. Good. Okay, guys. That's all I've got for you today. Thanks for coming out working hard. Appreciate you guys again bearing with me doing this online video stuff. Getting slightly better at it every single time. Hopefully that's my feeling is reflected in your perception. But once again, thanks for coming out working hard. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, Danielle will be at the computer there on the page to answer any questions you may have. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.